Hi, can everyone hear me okay? So please put your hands up if you're not from America, because I'm assuming everyone here is from the States. Yeah, thanks. So welcome everyone. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Brian Sang and all of the organizers for organizing this event and others to come. And I also wanted to say thank you very much to taking time out of your very busy lives to be here. And so there's more I would like to say about that, but I'll start by saying my name, which is Soma ARah, which I was given a few years ago, and it's SOMAARAH, and that was also another spiritual experience. But so I'm going to do a very short talk and tell you some about my childhood, and then I'm going to cover a few other things briefly, and then I'm going to do a channeling, and also the Q&A. I might do that as me, or I might do it within the channeling. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see, or I may do both. And please, if you have questions, it's probably better to ask them than me. So I'll start with my childhood. I may sit down, actually. So my childhood it had two streams to it. On one hand, there was a lot of trauma, and then every time something traumatic would happen, something very spiritual would happen. So I say trauma, and that was in the extreme. It wasn't in the extreme to the satanic stuff that goes on, but it was extreme to the point of rape at the age of 12, where I also became pregnant. But the earliest memory that I have is when I was 8, and I had an alcoholic mother, and I was underfed and undernourished. So I was a real skinny little thing. There wasn't much to me, and I had a man laying on top of me at the age of 8, and I couldn't breathe, literally couldn't breathe. And I left my body, and I went up to the left-hand side and connected to the Pleiadians. I didn't know who they were at the time. I had no idea. I just knew that I was in this other space, other place. I wasn't at home in my body. And I was gone either a few seconds or a few minutes, and then there was a very short message that they said everything would be okay. And then I came back into my body. And during that, somewhere, I'm guessing when I was out of my body, I could see in the hallway, which was behind the room I was in, and I could see my brother coming down the hallway, and then he dragged the guy off me. And then I could also see my mum coming down the hallway, so I must have still been out of my body to have seen that from that viewpoint. And then my mum came in the room and started fighting with my brother, because my brother was fighting with the man. And so that was my first conscious experience. And my story kind of jumps around a bit, because I didn't remember that until many years later, in I think it was 2010 or 11, where I began to do shamanic training with a guy called Paul O'Halloran in Galway in Ireland. And it was during that period of time in my life that I began to remember a lot of my childhood and having connected to the Pleiadians. And to add to the mix of things being back to front with me, I also started to channel the Pleiadians in 2009 consciously. but I'll get into that a bit later. So there was some of my other childhoods that I needed to go through with you, or wanted to share with you, because my childhood was really very traumatic, but it was also really beautiful, because I got to, I didn't want to get emotional or cry. But my childhood was a huge spiritual lessons and training and foundation, and I was experiencing so much that I never really spoke about. And also the other thing in the mix, so I'm not going to be able to get through everything today, and I know that we're behind time, but the other thing in the mix is I didn't speak until I think maybe 7, and I was labeled as autistic by my family because I didn't speak. And I think that is actually a blend of autism but also trauma, because I didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't want to speak to anyone. So with my childhood, I had many experiences. So I was born in Namibia, and I have Irish mum and a German father. And we left, my mum had emigrated years before to South Africa, and we ended up in Namibia where I was born. And then we moved to Ireland, and when we moved to Ireland is kind of where my memories start to surface. I kind of remember mostly from Ireland. I don't remember anything of South Africa, but my shamanic teacher, Paul O'Halloran, in Galway, did tell me that I've been abused since since I was in the cot, so it goes back there. And also when I was having the shamanic experiences, I'll explain about that later, but I was shown when I was doing ayahuasca in a shamanic journey. I'll explain about that later. So I just kind of want to make sure I'm doing these in order. And I have to say it's really great to be here. It's, you know, people don't just turn up on the stage or in the public eye and share. It's many of us are always, let me take back the word many, all of us have had a number of years and experience in order to get here, to be able to publicly speak about that, about things, and that is in spite of the targeting and all of that stuff, because there is, Veronica the other day, she was upset and emotional, and it started to make me cry, because I could feel like that there's a similarity between all of us where we all get targeted, and this is not. It's not even about being seen, it's about the information that comes through and the urgency, the need to get the information to you. So I just want to make sure, I'm going to pause there because I just want to make sure that I'm getting things kind of in order. I do tend to jump around a lot, so please forgive me for that. So the Pleiadians. Does anyone not know who the Pleiadians are? Please raise your hands. I'm pretty sure you all do. But if you don't, then do raise your hands. Okay. Okay, thank you. So the Pleiadians are a group of, the universe is teeming with life. And the Pleiadians are just one particular group that come from the Pleiades star system. When people ask me, I always like to keep things simple and say that they are similar to archangels, but not archangels. So they're light beings from the Pleiades star system. So I have explained when I was 8 what happened. So between the ages of, that I remember, between the ages of 8 and around 13, I had a lot of trauma and abuse. And then there was another section in my life between 12 and 16 that was very different. So I've explained when I was 8, and when I was 12, I had a very profound experience where I was done. I'd really had enough, and I was laying on my mattress because that's all I had, and I was okay with that because I've always been more comfortable on the floor, although nowadays I'm blessed to have a very nice bed, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love my sleep, and I love being out of my body and the astral plane when it's good. So I was laying on my mattress on the floor, and I was snotty and crying, and really, not just crying, but distraught, and very emotional, and deciding on taking tablets because I wanted to leave. I didn't want to be here. I was done. And it wasn't a cry for help. It wasn't any of that. I wasn't in a hospital. And I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to know anyone. I just wanted to be left alone. And so I was deciding on tablets, and I was in my room on my mattress. And because of this experience, I will never forget the layout of the room. My mattress was on here, and then the door was over there. And I was looking down on my own body, and I went through a tunnel of white light, and Jesus came to me and took me on a very long journey. I was raised as Catholic because my mum is Irish, but he took me on a very long journey for about 3 or 4 hours and showed me a lot of my karma, a lot of my life's journey, a lot of my lessons, a lot of everything. And then he really wanted to, I had the very strong feeling that he really wanted to understand that I got that I understood that everything actually was, which may sound strange to some people, but I really understood that everything was perfect. And then he showed me the bigger picture for humanity. And like I said, I was gone 3 or 4 hours. And then when I came back, I was actually blissful for about 3 or 4 weeks. And that gradually ebbed away. And nothing had changed. My environment, the school system, my mum, who was also an alcoholic with some other problems there. Probably Montauk, which I don't like to share or talk about. But she had other problems going on. She'd also come from a very abusive family and was very neglectful. So there was never any food around or anything like that. And so when I came back into my body, everything had changed. But nothing on the outside, the environment, the school, my siblings, my mum, everything was the same. But I had, somebody said to me, that wasn't just an out-of-body experience, or it wasn't just a spiritual experience. It was more of a Kundalini awakening, because when I came back, it was very different, very different. And that experience was just so profound to me, and very blissful. And one of the things I don't like about the Catholic Church is that they put Jesus on a pedestal where the likes of us are, he's unobtainable and he's not. Bearing in mind, I forgot to say that I grew up in London in the 80s. In an area that is equivalent to the Bronx. So I wasn't some privileged white girl. In Kensington, I was in a very poverty-stricken area. Okay. Is there any questions about that before I move on? No? Okay. So from, thank you. So from the, I say thank you a lot because I hear them audibly. So from the age, so that experience really changed me profoundly. So from the age after that happened, from 12 to 16, I would try, thank you. So I started to meditate, and I was in my little box room, and I started to meditate. I didn't know what it was called. I would just be sitting on my mattress. My back is bad now, so I'm not able to get into that position anymore. But I would be sitting on my mattress, and I would be meditating in silence and connecting, really connecting. And I started, we had, in Hackney Library in London, we had a very small library. And it had, for such a small library, it had quite a lot of spiritual books. So I would be meditating during the day, and I would be reading books by the likes of Edgar Cayce and Doris Stokes, or is it Barbara Stokes? There's two different ones. The older one was a very old school medium. So I was reading those types of books from the age of 12 to 16, and that's what I did with my early childhood days. I would just be and it was kind of blissful, you know. I was very kind of insular, and there were times I would try to go to school, and it would take me an hour. There was 2 buses, and it was very difficult for me to kind of beg the school money from my mum, because she never had any money, and if she did, she didn't want to give it. She would rather buy a pint of beer or some alcohol. So it was very difficult to get money from her for the bus. So I stopped going, but there was also another experience that I was having, and the school gates were huge. So I would take the journey. I would take the 2 buses, and then it would take at least an hour, and I would stand at the school gates, and they were literally huge. They were across there, that length, and probably as tall, and they were huge black wrought iron gates. And I remember being stood there, held in this vortex of energy where I just could not move. And I'd be stood there, this little skinny thing in a red jumper, and I think it was a black skirt, and I'd just be staring up at the gates, not being able to move. It was quite something. And that is a safety mechanism that the Pleiadians, thank you, specifically Ashtar, have put put into me, not put into me, but they will, like if I'm in danger, they will step in. And they've done that a number of times over the years. Once that prevented me from a car accident, which I'm very grateful. But the school system was the first time where they put this vortex of energy around me, and I wasn't able to move. I literally could not move, and I'd just be stood there for like 30 or 40 minutes, staring up at these big black gates, thinking, what are people thinking, like that are walking by? And I didn't really have any sense of what was going on at the time. And it wasn't until years later when I actually consciously, thank you, began to channel the Pleiadians in 2009, 2010, that I was told during the shamanic journeys all of my childhood memories that I'd forgotten of having connected to them as a child. So okay, thanks. So I'm being told to hurry up. So if you want to know more about me and my story, it's all on my website and my book. Sorry, just give me a second. So, thank you. So from the age of 12 to 16, there was a lot of downloads and transmissions, and there was something else I had forgotten to say. So when we arrived in Ireland, I would spend the summers in the garden communicating with nature fairies, animal spirit guides, the whole shebang. And then when my granddad died, when I was 9, he came back to me as solid as anything. So I grew up with spirit. I grew up being able to, thank you, communicate with the spirit world. I was seeing a lot of auras. Basically, I was checking out, when we moved to London, I was checking out to make sure if I was safe or not, because there was so much abuse going on, not just with me, but there was some with some of the other kids in the Princess May school that I went to. Sorry, that was my second primary school, was Princess May. In my first one in Gainsborough School, there was a lot of serious, more satanic abuse going on with some of the kids, and one of the kids actually was murdered. I don't want to really say this, but we are at a disclosure. But I don't know if anyone's heard of snuff movies. He was one of the children that was involved in snuff movies, and I do try to be as transparent as possible, which is why I've mentioned that. So I was very protected as a child, even though I had a lot of abuse going on. Okay, let's see, is there anything I've forgotten to mention there? So I was kept out of the school system, and in 2010, I was told that the reason for being kept out of the school system, which is such a huge part of my story, backstory, is that quote from Ashtar, I would have been lost. We kept you out. Thank you. We kept you out of the school system because you would have been lost to us. So my childhood was kind of a melting pot of a lot of different things and energies and abilities, and I would leave my body every night. I learned how to leave my body while I was asleep. And I was also one of those weird children that have past life memories. So I was having a lot of past life memories. One in particular that really I found very emotional, because I feel that connection so strongly. Native America, Lakota or Dakota, and my guide, who I don't often publicly give his name, but to me he is called Many Moons, because we've known each other several lifetimes. And I believe I was his wife, and his real name is, well, he's more commonly known as Black Elk. But in the past and going forward, I don't really disclose his name very often, because it's nice to keep things personal and simple. Okay, any questions before I move on? Okay, thank you. One of the things that I might jump around here with the talk, and I do want to keep it as short as possible, but I also don't want to miss anything that is really a pinpoint to cover. And of course, I will be doing a channeling. So the one thing that really gets me is, I was staying at another place recently, before the place I'm staying at now, where I met a beautiful soul, big black guy, and I was having some experiences where I recognized him from a previous lifetime, and also the other host, who was a shorter white girl. And I hadn't realized it, but I was there for a reason, to reconnect with them. And something that really came through at the time was the sacred people, and how we are the sacred people. And let me just go and explain first about Atlantis and what I've been shown about Atlantis and the downfall of Atlantis, where I always call them reptilian, but within that frame there are several different negative or negative ET energy is something else that I call them. So the downfall of Atlantis, we were invaded by a group of negative ET energies or reptilians. But I do group all of them into that circle, that band. So there may be other ones that are called Anunnaki or various different names, but I always just band them all together. So at the downfall of Atlantis, what I've been shown is that they needed to find a new home because theirs had or was being destroyed, and they came in and saw Earth and were above in their ships for quite some time. I don't know if it was how many number of years. I'm assuming it was thousands of years, but then time is not linear, so it certainly was a long time. And they were devising, they saw Earth from above, and they were devising a plan over a long time, and this is a very long plan. So they were devising a plan that covered every positive avenue with a block of energy. So different situations were that they perceived that they wouldn't have a good outcome. They've looked at everything. I'm kind of jumping ahead there, but they devised a very long plan, and then invaded Atlantis. And when we were in Atlantis, this is something really important, because we are here now, and it's not just the likes of us as speakers, it is also the likes of you as an audience. And if anyone has experienced a sighting of a UFO, to me that represents you've had a lifetime in Atlantis. You've had a previous connection to them being the positive alien races, whether it's Pleiadian or Syrian or Lyran. So that is a stamp for you. If you have experienced a UFO sighting, or even a dreamtime experience when you've been asleep in the astral, that is a signal to me, a sign, a stamp to me that you are Atlantean. So the reptilian race overthrew Atlantis because they wanted Earth, they wanted ownership. They didn't have a home. The home was destroyed through some of the galactic wars, I believe, deliberately. So they found Earth and wanted to take over Earth and invade. So that's what happened. Also, when we were in Atlantis, because we have reincarnated, and I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so the Atlanteans were an advanced group of humans that had several different abilities, healing, telepathy. It was an advanced civilization, and it was overthrown by a negative race or species who changed the DNA, which is another important aspect. And since then, we've been, under their control. They overthrew the systems. Wouldn't say were really in place in the way, in the way that they are today, but they overthrew every system. They gradually, over a period of time, and I was in Atlantis and I made mistakes. We were led down into a more negative path, and we made mistakes in Atlantis. And one of the reasons I'm speaking so much about Atlantis is because it's very relevant to now. There is it is almost like we didn't evolve. We didn't get to evolve in Atlantis because we were invaded and our DNA was dumbed down, changed, altered. And if you want to find more out about that, look at Greg Braden and some of his work. He does go more into that. So the downfall of Atlantis is almost a parallel timeline, because now we get to evolve. But our DNA was changed, everything was changed about us, and it brought us to a much lower frequency, a much lower awareness, telepathy, healing abilities, psychic awareness. At the time of Atlantis, we all had an ability, every single one of us, to connect and channel with star nations, or the Pleiadians, or the Syrians. We were all divinely unaltered, is a good word. So, sorry, I just need to have a sip of water. So now, here we are on another great awakening of humanity, where we're all here again to rectify the mistakes we made in Atlantis. There was a call in between the downfall of Atlantis and now, where a call was put out into the universe. And we heard the call, and we are here now in this lifetime to bring about disclosure, to make a change, to evolve into not even going back to Atlantis, but evolving into a higher species. Our bodies, our skin, our hair, our teeth. We are changing. We are waking up. And we are here now to be part of this great awakening of humanity. But Atlantis is a huge part of it. And Atlantis was not just one area. It was not just Ireland. It was not just Antarctica. It was not just other various places. The Earth was much smaller and had much more water. The water level was much lower. So the Earth has expanded and grown, and there's much more water now than there ever used to be. So the Great Awakening of humanity, there was a call put out into the universe, and basically what's happened is we've come back to rectify our changes, to rectify the changes. And that really became very evident to a lot of people that were very asleep in 2019, where there was another. Okay, so I want to mention, because this is also very important, that all systems on Earth are run at the highest level by negative ET races or energy that are all working in conjunction with each other. They all know each other behind the scenes. They all work together. I do believe there is one exception that has also been cloned. So all systems on Earth, the governments, the school systems, the medical, the big pharma, the food systems, the military, the police, the school systems, the medical, every system on Earth is run and by negative ET energies. These beings, or negative ET energies as I always like to call them, are very much in contact with each other, and they have made several situations or plays where they, since the downfall of Atlantis, where they've put different experiences and situations and plays into humanity. One of them was very obvious in 2019, where there was a very dangerous virus, and we all had to fall in line. So David Icke was one of the first people who was speaking about, and one of the systems on Earth includes the royal family. The royal family I truly know in my heart are reptilian. And thank you. And they've also, the Pleiadians have also shown me beneath Hyde Park, the area in front of what is it, Kensington Palace. There's a huge lawn in front of Kensington, the Queen's Palace in London, in Kensington Palace. What I see when I see beneath that is, I don't see the lawn, I see beneath it where there are like a grid system of tunnels that are being used to traffic children. And of course, I don't know if anyone here has seen the video, but there's a video that's been out for some time that I first saw in, I think it was 2019, where you can see the palace, Kensington Palace, and then there's I think he's a little Indian boy, or he has that colour skin. He's climbing out from the window, and this happened to be filmed accidentally by a tourist, and you can see him climbing out the window. He's naked except for a little pair of, I think, white underpants, and he's climbing out of the building. And then he jumps. I don't know what happened after he jumped. I don't know the ground that he landed on. I don't know I don't know the distance. I don't know if he survived that. But there is a lot of evidence of the royal family, and of course the elites, and many of you will have heard some of the stories of more well-known people, so to speak. But the royal family, yeah, they're incredibly very involved at the top of trafficking children. And then, of course, you go into the more satanic with blood and the Vatican. There's a huge area under the Vatican as well, where more satanic stuff goes on with children. And yeah, so I'll just pause there. There is something different about this great awakening, and the great reset is Ashtar has told me that the great reset is a phrase that is very positive, but the negative agenda and the powers that be have taken that and used it for a negative connotation. But that was a positive phrase, the Great Reset. We are in the Great Reset. And we heard the call. And we're back here now to rectify the mistakes we made in Atlantis. And we are evolving into a new human being. In 2019, there was another event with the virus and the COVID shot that was where the negative agenda. There was an experience I had that put me into for like 3 days. I was, and it started to happen when I was asleep, and I was with Bill Gates, and I was with a couple of other people. Bearing in mind I've been astral traveling and having these types of experiences since I was in the cot. But for these couple of days I was with that energy, and I was being shown very clearly that the likes of Bill Gates and his circle of reptilians, or whoever they are, has, let's say, 1 to 3% of the frequency of love. They have such a low frequency that and this is connected to 2019, because they didn't expect us to raise our frequency and rise up and speak out, which is what we're doing now. And these events are so important. There is no government, okay, I will mention that, thank you. So there is no government on this planet that will, there are exceptions, that will be the disclosure movement, because it is they are the reptilians. They are a different species. They are not human. They have 1 to 3% of the frequency that we carry as starseeds, and we are all starseeds. I have been shown, and I will mention this, I have been shown that Trump has a very direct, is working very closely with the Pleiadians and Ashtar, perhaps even more than I am, in a more physical way, where they are more solid. So I've also been shown that, and I've had other experiences with Trump in the astral, but I always question everything. I question everything, and I do. Something that I learned as a child was really to read people, and I still do it now. It was a safety mechanism to see if, like, are the men trustable? Like, can I trust that guy over there, or is he going to try and molest me? So that was a skill that I really honed in from a very early age. So I'm very heightened in that, being able to read energy and people very well, because I needed to. It was a survival mechanism that really kicked in, and I honed in on it. It was my only, support system, apart from my guides. So a couple of things I was shown about Trump is that he has a very direct connection to Ashtar and the Pleiades. Very direct. I mean, I said even more than me. And I've been a channel for a long time. And I also come from there, which I was shown during a shamanic journey. I've also been shown that there are several, I say several, I don't know how many exactly, but there's more than one Trump. And the other guy is not good. And for some reason, Trump is allowing, well, I can kind of understand, but for some reason, Trump is allowing the imposter, Trump, to be doing what he's doing, to be presenting himself on media, at events. I'm not sure what but I'm sure that eventually will have to come out. Many of us do know that that's already a thing. So, and I believe that there are also many other clones of positive and negative. So it's a bit, you have to be very discerning, very discerning. I don't think there's anything else I have time to say that is that. I think I've covered all the foundations. So, are there any questions before I do a channeling? No? Okay. Yes, I know. Yeah. I really step into an altered reality. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Is it? No. Can I put it in here? Yeah. Will this fall out if I turn it round? I'm actually going to take a quick bathroom break. Yeah.
So while Soma just takes a brief break, just a couple of housekeeping things. We will be once again in the white dinner tent on the beach patio right next to Rum Runners. First presenters and VIPs and anyone who's gotten dinner tickets. And then if after everyone else has gotten their food of those and have been seated, it looks like there's more food and there is just later on towards the dinner, then please hop on in and help us eat all the food that we've already paid for and that they've already cooked. And it's amazing anyway. And you should, since you're here at this event, enjoy getting to eat with a lot of the presenters and the exhibitors here, because it's quite a treat. Also, wanted to give a shout out. I know we have Gino here with the Y-Files, and he's wanting to do some interviews. And we got James Bartley here, all the way from Australia. He is a contactee of reptilian ETs, and we'll be speaking on them. So I definitely recommend, Gino, you link it with James Bartley. And, James, you want to raise your hand? Right here, James Bartley in the audience. Also, our friend Katie Rains here towards the back. Same row, yep, waving her hand. Yeah, and you see Gino there. You might want to link up. Katie also has galactic contacts and may have footage of some of them visiting us here at our conference at this event. And we know that they were here last year, and we were told that they would be here in even greater numbers. And then when I touch base or check in with people who are more sensitive, remote viewers, a lot of times the various beings, on the more positive side, especially after our blessings and clearing ceremony, they'll be in the audience, or they'll be flying around towards the ceiling. And at last year's Journey to Truth conference, Rebels of Disclosure, held in Grafton, Illinois, at the Pere Marquette Lodge, we had both Margie Kay and Kiera Ingalls, I believe. Margie Kay is with the UNX network, and they have a table back here. They both separately were seeing two blue, I think it was orbs, like light orbs, like flying around up towards the ceiling of the main conference room that we're at there in Grafton, Illinois. And basically the general consensus was those are positive ETs sending their technology to basically record and monitor and be present during those proceedings. And just like with the Farsight Institute gals were able to detect some of that. And of course, they are very interested in what we're doing down here. And want to see, obviously, even more people here in person and on a live stream audience, because the more humanity wakes up, the more it gets past any of that legalese of violating the Prime Directive, which has, of course, been blown a long time ago, because humanity's evolution and development has been long held back and stunted. This is one reason why whenever I hear people talk about, oh, humanity, we're always fighting and wars and greed, we just can't get it together. I say, that's like taking a severely abused, housewife or child and, subjecting them to decades of just abuse and torture and slavery, and then releasing them into the wild and saying, why can't they just get it together? It's like, well, let's undo 26,000 years of Babylonian money magic for starters, and then, understand that unlike the PSYOP foisted upon us by Colonel Michael Aquino, who was infamously part of the Montauk Project, or Project Phoenix, he also co-founded the PSYOPs division of the U.S. military and brought us the Flat Earth PSYOP, among others, in the 1970s. And so, you won't ever see on the Full Disclosure Network, or you'll know I've been taken over at that point if you see all this like Flat Earth stuff. Okay, and here, back to Soma ARah and the Pleiadians. And a question, if the Pleiadians want to comment on Flat Earth, Inner Earth, multidimensional Earth, we'd love to hear about it too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This one? Okay.
Looking with the blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I've been breathing on my mind for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go inside. I'm officially delegated away. I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on my mind for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go inside. I'm officially delegated away. I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on my mind for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go inside. I'm officially delegated away. I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on my mind for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go inside. I'm officially delegated away.
Huh?
I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated now, make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on my mind for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't.
Can everyone hear? Okay. How is that? Yeah. As always, we are delighted to be here this evening. We've connected with you, so many of you previously. Brian, Justin, Brad, Laura. We do not wish to give full names. You are so connected, much more than you realize. You are one group of, please can you be silent? What? At the back, on the left. It is a distraction for Soma when she is channeling to hello? Please can you be silent in the back on the left? Thank you. It is delightful to connect with you. Yesterday we showed up, which was picked up by some of you, where there was a ship directly above where you are sitting now, and Soma could feel this. She also works very visually, so when we channel, we give her images that are sometimes very different to the telepathic communication. So sometimes she finds it difficult to voice, to work with this type of downloads, because she is getting the audience, the clairaudience or the telepathy, and the image that is a separate piece of information. So she will try her best with the distractions today. But yesterday we were noticed by several of you here now We are delighted. We're so delighted to be here. We connect with many of you, and of course Syrians, Sirius, Lyrans. There's so many of you that are so deeply connected to us and Syrians and Lyrans and others. You are, it is no coincidence, okay, thank you, no coincidence or synchronicity that you are all here now. You heard the call that was put out into the universe, and you are remembering. And as we said earlier, as Soma said earlier, when you have a UFO experience, it is their way or our way of helping you to remember, to wake up to who you are, why you're here, where you're from, and what's really going on. We are deeply connected to you. We created you in our likeness. You are our children, and some of you who've experienced trauma are more of our children than ever. Those that needed parents that were not good parents is a simple way to put it. There was an image that we showed Soma at the age of 12 when she walked into the lounge and the news was on, and the Sphinx and the pyramid. We held her in that vortex of energy she sometimes talks about in the doorway. We showed her beneath the Sphinx. The right paw, as you look head on to the Sphinx. This was back in the 80s. As a child, the information is more widely known now, but back then, not so much. We showed her an area, an area beneath the right paw as you look head on. A doorway, steps going down, and an area that contains knowledge, information. You are one people, not just the disclosure movement, which has separate, or rather that is the wrong words, but the spiritual movement is one, whether it is Reiki, UFOs, healing, disclosure, astral plane, tarot, all the different segments. It is one thing. It is a consciousness that is expanded, that includes different subjects, whether it be UFOs or Reiki or healing or energy. It is all a frequency of consciousness that is higher evolved, and you as beings now were in Atlantis, and you've had lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And a huge important aspect of that, thank you, is the sacred people have been tracked and traced since the downfall of Atlantis, and you were those people. You were the Native Americans, you were the Indians, you were the Africans, the Irish, the Celtic. You are the people we created in our likeness. In rhesus negative blood type, is, we showed Soma many years ago, is a sign, a stamp of our DNA, our bloodline. Rhesus negative is an important blood. Why do you think that your DNA became traceable, and companies that charge you are able to track your ancestry and DNA? The royal family is a big part of this, of these companies. We've not shared this with Soma before, but we do want to talk about the sacred people. You are the sacred people. You've gone from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime for thousands of years. You were an original core group of Atlantean beings that made wrong choices, bad decisions, and you took a more negative timeline. You are here now in this lifetime, which is huge. We can never find the words to describe how magnificent, how important, how epic this is. You are here to rectify. You are here to change the trajectory of Atlantis, which is happening now. Time is not a linear thing. In your dream time, this is evident, where you are able to visit your past lives now and your future lives in the dream time. You are the sacred people, and we take reverence. We want to, what is the word? We want to recognize how important you are. And when we say you, we mean those ones that are standing up and speaking now. Those ones that have spoken up since 2019 as well, who would not have spoken up had it not been for that situation. You are the disclosure movement. It has been infiltrated. You have been infiltrated since the downfall of Atlantis. Not just in the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You have been invaded in Atlantis, where there was a very physical contract that was drawn up between positive and negative ET races. A very physical contract where they were given the ownership of humanity and the earth. And this contract has now been null and void and torn up. And something that we want to mention today is the audience. Many members of the audience in these conferences that you organize are the speakers of tomorrow. The speakers amongst you, it has taken some time to be in the position to speak out in a more public way. And there will be a next wave of those, and a next wave of those, and a next wave of those. And as you move forward in your lifetime, it is gathering momentum and building and building and building and building and building. And we do work with Trump very closely. But you are the disclosure movement. You are a tribe, a unique tribe of people that heard the call. From this day on, we will always include the audience as the tribe. There are levels of starseeds, and some of you are elders. Justin, Brian, Brad, Laura, many others. You are the elders. There are different levels. Or levels is the wrong word, but different ages, different experiences where there will be a next wave and a next wave and a next wave and a next wave, and it will gather momentum. The older you get, your world is not what you thought it was. It is changing dramatically. Behind closed doors for so many of you, it is and can be very negative with targeting. When you wake up with implants, scratches, bruises. We are here to unite you more than ever. We are here to assist you more than ever. We cannot do this great awakening of humanity for you. It is up to you to do that. It is up to you to do that. It is up to you to pick up the microphone, to organize events that are so important. There are important differences this time of humanity's evolution than Atlantis, and the invadedness, the downfall of Atlantis. There are two very important aspects. One is the internet and technology that you have widely available to you. Back in 2009, we told, we'll call her Carol, because she was called Carol at the time, but we told Soma the technology at that time was 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 years in advance of what you were being shown, and that was in 2009. It is increasingly advancing on a daily basis. You are not being shown very advanced technology that is widely available. With many times in the childhood of this one, we showed her tunnels, many different tunnels, and she did not know at the time what these tunnels were. She just knew that the tunnels went from Ireland and the UK to America, to that are walkable. There is so much we could share with you today. We are aware that your time is different. But we are so pleased to be here. Many of you that are in the audience, and even some of those that are part of the speakers, will begin to have experiences. Okay. Thank you. Where we connect, and the likes of us, our brothers and sisters, Sirius and other positive ET races will begin to connect more. You will have more experiences over the coming 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We use the word reconnect with some of you that are aware of us from previous lifetimes. Sometimes you have not spoken about that publicly previously. We want to really get home to you today that the audience is especially the younger members, the audience is the next wave to come. So we were talking about the two differences. One was the technology. The other And Soma is not aware of, we kind of take that back, but Soma is not aware of this information being out there in the public. But the downfall of it, at the time of the downfall of Atlantis, there was something we overlooked, and this time we have included specifically for starseeds, and especially those who are in the public domain or public figures who speak about these subjects. We have instilled, placed into your bodies, your DNA, your systems, your physical systems, your energetic systems, your auric systems, your blood, your skin, your hair, your teeth, which we often talk about. We have placed DNA codes as an extra set of codes to ensure that there is a positive outcome this time. These codes were not, you did not have these codes at that time. They were taken away rather than added, or even in non-existent. But this time we were aware enough to instill, put into place an extra set of DNA codes specifically for starseeds that have yet to come to light through this one, through Soma. We previously shared the grounding code that we put into starseeds. We previously shared this on one of her channelings. We rarely do predictions, but we also predicted, which is important, and she forgot to speak about. But we did predict the landing in Miami previous 2 or 3 weeks before it happened, which is on a recording. Which is watchable, recorded, dated, signed, stamped. She likes to record evidence of everything. Now may be a good time for questions.
You're going to have Veronica Bartolini ask a question here. Go ahead, Veronica.
Okay, when I was a kid, I had perfect teeth. We lived in Nogales, Arizona. My parents brought me here. And when I was 8 years old, I was 7 years old when they brought me here. 8 years old when the dentist told me, my mother, that I had 7 cavities. I'm like, I never had cavities before. Are the metal in my teeth, the mercury, I got a download 3 months ago saying that there's records in there. Is that for me, DNA, or secret space program? Thank you.
Is it for you or from? Just repeat the end.
This is in regards to when Veronica suddenly, it seems, had to have all this dental work done, and they may have put in aluminum or even mercury fillings, and many people in our community have had issues with these types of fillings. Maybe were these implants to track Veronica, or are they there to poison her or target her in some other way, perhaps? Or mess with her DNA?
What we would say is that these are to keep you, okay, thank you. are to keep you on a lower frequency, to keep you forgetful, to not wake you to... You have many memories. This is a war between light and dark, between positive and spiritual, negative races. It is a war on humanity. And you are here, Veronica, to wake up people. So from their point of view, it would make sense to put things into your body, to put things into your mind, to use technology. We want to reiterate that love wins, that this time there is a positive outcome. We will not allow, and it surprises Soma, and she believes it also surprises other people sometimes when we say we will not allow a negative outcome. We will not allow it. The great ascension that you are in now is not limited to Earth. It affects us. It affects us. It affects everything within the universe. It is not limited to Earth. You have such a great impact on the great awakening of humanity. You do not fully yet understand. Even those, the likes of you and Veronica and Brad and Justin, even those of you that do understand, you still do not understand the vast impact of the time period that you are in now is immeasurable. You are here to help you awaken a species that has been kept in the dark for time immemorial. What is occurring on your planet is epic. We can never find the words with enough that are powerful enough to express what we are trying to share with you. The great awakening of humanity affects the universe. It affects us. It affects all of life. It affects your very DNA, your consciousness, your evolution. It affects every single minute piece of dust or planets, universes, star systems. It affects the whole universe. It affects everything. It affects the past, the present, the future, the now. It affects timelines. It affects up and down, left and right, black and white, young and old. It affects time itself, technology, looking glass technology. It affects everything. So when you look at it from such a grand spectrum, such a grand perspective, it is no wonder that you are being targeted and have things placed into your body, whether they are physical cavities or technology, thank you, is also in the higher dimension being placed into your body in a very physical way. So there is a physical technology that are placed in your body that are negative and positive, that are being used by negative and positive ET races. That is how they track and trace you from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. You are the sacred people of Atlantis, of Africa, of Ireland, of India, of, thank you, of so many different countries. And let us add, and we've never put it in this way before, let us add that the British have claimed everywhere. The royal family and the British are a huge part of the reptilian. Soma always clumps them all together, but they are a huge part of that negative ET races which is why the British have gone to almost every country on your planet to claim that land. You are the sacred people. They have put brother against brother, families, Irish families against each other. War divides. There is such a grand picture here. The technology that was placed into your mouth to answer your question, on a certain scale, with your body being so young, it is a negative. It was a negative, but it was not so negative in the extreme. It is more a technology, a tracking devices, more of a thoughts into your mind. It is a technology that thoughts into your mind. It is also putting out, emitting energy and even a certain type of radiation. It is not good for your body, it is not good for your energy, but your body is different to who you were when you were 7 years old. Very different. So your body is kind of able to handle what is in place now. You have been targeted, VB. We like to use initials sometimes to disguise the individual, but you all, of course, know here. So sometimes these, the technology you've been these sacred people again and again and again and again. You are here for such a huge movement of the consciousness of evolution. You are important people at the front line of humanity's evolution, which is why you are targeted. So you can understand from their perspective, from the negative agenda's perspective, why you are targeted. You are not Joe down the road. David Icke talks about this. You are not little Joe down the road, or little Soma, or little Carol. You are here. You are galactic beings that have thousands of lifetimes on different star systems. Your DNA, your blood, your skin, your hair, your teeth are different. Your awareness is different. You have abilities that are different, that are unique, that are exceptional. Remote viewing being a very well-known one by most of you. Does that answer your question? There are times when you recognize each other. There are many presenters. We include Soma in this. Your story does not end here. You have more experiences to come. You have more unfolding. You have more awareness. You have more to give. You have more to understand about yourselves. We sometimes call you the 144,000. That is the ones that came to your planet to rectify, to make changes, to create new communities, new beginnings. You are the ones that you've been waiting for. We use many terms to, again and again and again, to different channels. The tribe of many colors. You are the tribe of many colors. Just because you are a public speaker does not mean that your story is not, or your life, your experiences stop. They continue. You all continue to evolve, and the audience is no different. You are all experiences, all contactees, and some of you are aware that you are abductees, and some of you are not aware that you are abductees. Some of you are still scared to speak out about things that you see, things that you experience, things that you feel, things that you hear telepathically. There are technologies such as voice-to-skull technologies that are very real. And your schizophrenia did not begin until very recently. Your shootings, your school shootings are predominantly in the country you are in now. There is a reason for that. Perhaps we could say that technology does not cover such a vast, expansive area from where it is placed, meaning that it is limited to, it has a certain reach, which is perhaps contained to the land you are in now. You will rarely hear of school shootings in other countries. It is a voice-to-skull technology or type of technology that is used to there's so much we could talk about. Speak up. Speak up. Create your communities. Pick up your microphones if you haven't already. Use your voices. Take back your power. You are such powerful beings. You do not even understand how powerful you are. Even those that do understand. BOJMVB. BT. Some initials. Many of those we mentioned have been on craft. You are us. You are us. And we created you in our likeness. Many of you remember being at the creation of the pyramids, which are much older. There's so much we could share with you. But the sacred people is something that really came up emotionally for Soma when she landed in this country. It is the sacred people that have been born again and again and again and again. The starseeds are the sacred people. Why do you think America, the Native Americans, were so targeted and the land stripped? They were disempowered. Again and again and again and again, you have been tracked and traced since the downfall of Atlantis, using technology that has been placed into your bodies, into your energy fields, both in a negative and a positive way. Years ago, we showed Soma a book when she first began to consciously channel us, a large book with all of your names in it. We know who you are. We know your frequency, your energy. We know your experiences. We know your past lives. We know where you live. And we do have humor. When you see ships, it is us or others trying to help you to remember who you are. Not everyone on your planet sees ships. It is quite a minority. Even today, and back and back and back and back, it was more of a minority in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s. And the more you wake up, the more you wake up, the more you wake up, the more you wake up. One of the great ways to move forward now is to speak up. And if you haven't done yet so yet, then do that. And do that more and more and more and more and more. Increase your energy, increase your velocity, increase your reach, increase your books, increase your experiences, increase your writings, increase everything. Increase your telepathy, your abilities, your healing, your energy, your understanding. You are here for such an epic. It is no wonder you are being targeted through injections, through chemicals, through, we could name a very long list of different things, including your TV sets, TV programming. We have sent, thank you, we have sent signals. We have, at least twice that Soma knows of, come through your technology to give a message to humanity. To humanity. You are so much more. You are so beautiful. You have so many abilities. It is not a coincidence, thank you. It is not a coincidence that Soma channels us. It is. She has had many lifetimes with us, and her energy is different, as so many of you is different. But it is no coincidence that she has had experiences with us and had a first experience with Jesus when she was 12. We are one and the same. Jesus was Pleiadian and came to your planet. Many of you are still hiding in the spiritual closet, scared to speak out about many different things. Seeing, not least of all, seeing UFOs. But voice-to-skull technology, hearing voices. There are many different reasons for this. One is mediumship. Do we have time for one more question?
Actually, Soma ARah, we have to take a break quickly because we have to put together the Secret Space Program panel because we're unfortunately running late. However, if we do get another opportunity between now and the end of the event for our friends to come back to visit here, we would love for that to happen. And so please everyone, not just for Soma ARah, but for our Pleiadian friends sharing their love and wisdom with us. Thank you.